Hello there again. So this is a follow-up to my previous video. I would like to elaborate a little bit on the collision and all the stuff I did previously that I couldn't or decided not to show. So I'm gonna show it here. This is me showing off how I'm actually loading multiple textures. This is like two files. Both of them are object files, and in both instances there's just a sphere with vertices and normals. And here I'm just using cat to combine them together with the proper use of cat. And I can load an object like that, which results in these two spheres being side by side. This requires me to export it from Blender in a specific way. I have to export them individually because Blender puts them together and creates unique indices for them. And here, this is just a quick show of how I'm actually making the textures and everything. I of course go to OpenGameArt and look at the ones that CC0, public domain stuff. I was testing the movement of that thing and also wondering why my street was messed up. And as I've mentioned before, that happens when the UVs are not properly unwrapped. And now I fixed it and works normally again. I'm also going to show how I can actually scale the meshes. This is something I wanted to have in my engine. I can use the mesh scale function I've made to just scale the mesh itself, not via the model matrix, but actually just scale the whole mesh prior to sending into the GPU, which allows me to like stretch the street and squish it, yeah, which produces this result. The street gets stretched and squished. And this is not done with the model matrix, this is just modification of the mesh itself. This is useful in case I need to tile or create meshes from existing ones, like combining them or whatever. I wanted to have this just out of curiosity. And this is me finally testing collisions. I don't know if you can see this, but it was driving me bonkers. Because when you run into some of these, you may notice that the camera jitters a little bit as you get pushed back. It's not very visible because usually you don't slide around objects like this. But today I was trying to solve that and didn't solve it yet. I even switched back to polling keys instead of callbacks. I mean, for the most part it works, but you can probably tell from the little jitters that happen. When I press the keys, it moves forward, but doesn't actually move the player, but it does move him enough for you to know that you pressed the key. But it pushes you back in a weird way, so yeah. Yeah, that was what you could see visibly, how it was jittering. But I also can now scale the invisible collision, which is what I was testing here. And you can clearly see how the camera jitters when you pay attention and move alongside the wall. Here I'm scaling in the opposite direction. So now we have flat on this side and long on this side. So it's a collision rectangle, it's axis aligned bounding boxes, which means that my buildings and walls have to be at a 90-degree angle because of this whole mess here. That was the collision detection, which tripped me up because it's X and Z on the floor and not XY, and also it's hard for me to imagine where the axis actually is. But yeah, this was driving me bonkers. I was trying to fix it this morning for several hours and I didn't manage to do it. This is another thing. When you get pushed, you can clearly see what's happening. That's exactly what's causing the weird jittering. I must have and when you move into it, then you can go through when it's moving, because they don't cancel out properly. And also in this instance, which should be fixed by now, you can get just pushed through collision. But this should be somewhat fixed, but not the jittering. I don't know what to do with the jittering. But yeah, that's where I'm at with this. As I said previously, I'm like almost ready to make a game with this, just not with animations. And yeah, I was hoping to make a horror game, but maybe I'll just make a parody horror game if I can't have animations yet. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this. If you liked it, then like and subscribe, check out my Patreon, and thanks for watching. Hope I'll have a weird game for you at some point in the next few weeks. Thanks and bye.